Hi viewers, today we are going to discuss about secretory tissue. It comes under complex tissue. What is the means of secretory tissue? You see the cells directly concerned with secretions like resins, essential oils, mucilage, latex and similar substances together constitute secretory or special tissues. These cells have neither common origin nor morphological continuity. They may occur as isolated patches in any part of the plant or may form well organized structures. The two types of cells are usually found in this tissue. In some of them, the materials formed are exuded from the cells. Nectareous exuding sugary fluid are the examples. These are also called secretory cells. In other, the materials formed remain stored up in the cells to be released only after the breakdown of the cells. The cells belonging to the first type have rich cytoplasm and prominent nuclei. Various these of the second type are large cells with well developed cavity where the secretion remains stored up. The ducts containing essential oils and mucilage are the examples. Then if you see the glands, what is glands? Glands are well organized secretory structures composed of diverse types of cells. The secretory materials are produced and liberated by the protoplasm of the cells. The substances may be at once exuded from the seats of formation, as in nectaries, or they may remain stored in some cavity inside. The glands may be external or superficial, naturally formed on the epidermis, or they may be internal where the cavities corresponding to the intercellular spaces formed either cytogeneously or lysogeneously. Then glandular hairs and trichomes, common in many plants, are superficial in origin. The common glands are those which secrete digestive enzymes known as digestive glands. Nectar secreting ones are nectaries, and similarly, resin ducts, oil ducts, latex secreting glands called lactiferous ducts, and water secreting ones called hydatodes. The next, if you see the digestive glands, దీన్ని ఇక్కడ మనం తెలుగులో అయితే జీర్ణ గ్రంథులు అంటాం. డైజెస్టివ్ గ్లాండ్స్. It is an established fact that plants in general have intracellular digestion. Here, the living cells secrete enzymes, no specialized structure being present for the purpose. The insectivorous plants possess special digestive glands which secrete proteolytic enzymes, and thus part of the nitrogen requirement is obtained from the bodies of the insects they catch. So it is a case of extracellular digestion. In Drosera or Sundew, the gland is located at the tip of the tentacle. In Nepenthes, the pitcher plant glands occur along the wall of the pitcher and secrete enzyme in the liquid present inside the pitcher. In Dionia, the glands are normally inactive, but contact with the insect body stimulates them. If you see the diagram, the digestive gland in a sectional view of Nepenthes and Drosera. A is Nepenthes and B is the Drosera. Yeah. Next one, Nectaris. These are special glands usually located on the floral parts. They secrete the sugary substance, nectar or honey, and thus attract the pollinating insects. These glands are superficial, usually consisting of epidermal cells. In some cases, the cells forming the glands are columnar or papillose ones, which dense protoplast. Whereas in others, the secretory cells may be more or less like normal epidermal cells but without cuticle. Nectar is extruded through the walls and exposed on the outer surface of the gland. Nectaries may also occur on purely vegetative parts. In that case, they are called extrafloral nectaries. Those present on the rim of the pitcher of Nepenthes, which really lure the poor insects, and those occurring on the stipules of Vicia species of family Leguminosae are nice example of extrafloral nectaries. See the diagram of these. This is the diagram shows nectar in sec- sectional view. Euphorbia pulcherima's picture this is shows, and B is the extrafloral nectary on the stipula of Vicia species. Then if you see the resin ducts and oil ducts, substances like resins, oils, gums are capiously secreted in gymnosperms in general and also in many angiosperms. The materials are secreted and conducted through special glands, which are also called ducts. In gymnosperms like pine, these ducts form extensive canals occurring in vertical and horizontal position, but ducts present in the fruits of umbelliferous are localized in certain regions. The resin ducts are formed cyanogeneously and appear as tube-like bodies having a lining of small parenchyma cells with dense protoplast. The latter are called epithelial cells which excrete resin. The oil ducts of umbellifers, though localized and limited in extent, are also formed in the same manner. The characteristic oil glands present on the rinds of citrus fruits like lemons and oranges are formed lysogenously. The cavities remain filled tip with essential oils and other substances due to disorganization of tissues. If you see, the next one is latissiferous ducts. The long tube like bodies containing the viscous fluid latex occur in a large number of angiospermic families. These are called latissiferous ducts or tubes. Latex is usually a milky, often yellowish or watery fluid which is radially extruded when the plants containing it are injured. It is an emulsion of various substances like proteins, sugars, enzymes, rubber, etc. In a watery matrix, latex is secreted by the cells and conducted through them, often forming extensive system inside the plant body. The commercial value of latex has already been reported. Latex of Hevea of family Euphorbiaceae and some other allied plants is the chief commercial source of rubber, and that of papaw contains the very useful enzyme papain and papaver, a useful alkali. And from antagonistic point of view, latissiferous ducts are of two types. One is non articulate latex ducts or latex cells, and articulate latex ducts or latex vessels. They are also called simple and compound latissiferous respectively. There is no difference between the two so far as the contents are concerned. Non articulate latex ducts or latex cells or single cells, they arise as small meristematic cells at the very embryonic stage. With the growth of the plants, these cells also elongate and make their way through other tissues. The growth of the tip is mainly apical and often branches are given out. Thus, as much elongate tube like bodies growing continuously, they penetrate into all the tissues of the plant, even invading the newly formed organs like leaves, buds, and lateral roots. To show, if you see the diagram, it is shows latissiferous ducts in sectional view. First one is non-articulate duct from Euphorbia, uh, and another one is articulate duct from Corsica papaya. Corica papaya. Then the latex cells are coinocytic. It means it's multinucleate. Coinocytic bodies with scanty cytoplasm. They do not form a network. This type of latex duct is common in members of families Asclepiaceae and Apocynaceae, Euphorbiaceae, etc. In some plants like Vinca of family Apocynaceae and some members of Urticaceae, the latex cells remain unbranched. The cells here originate not in the embryo but in meristem of developing shoot. But instead of extending like once previously discussed, these cells remain restricted to one internode and to the attached leaf and branch. Articulate latex ducts or latex vessels originate from a row of cells in continuous series by partial or total dissolution of the end walls. So from antagonistic point of view, it is a compound structure resembling a xylem vessel. But the latex vessel is living and coinocytic. The rows of cells may be even irregular. The ducts send out branches frequently, which extensively penetrate through other tissues and eventually form a complex system of network. Like non-articulate ones, this type also originates in the early embryonic stage where fusion of cells has been observed. And if you see the latex vessels occur in poppy of family, Papaveraceae, papa of Caricaceae, banana of Musaceae, and the rubber yielding plant Hevea of family Euphorbiaceae. It is interesting to note that the nature of duct does not bear any relation with the systematic position of plants. Most of the plants of family Euphorbiaceae possesses latex cells, but Hevea, the most important rubber yielding plant of the same family, has latex vessels. Then if you see the next very important one, hydatodes, in Telugu జలగ్రంథులు అంటాం మనం వీటిని. The hydatodes. These are specialized structures present in many angiosperms through which exudation of water takes place. So they are also called water stromata or water pores. ఓకే జల పత్రరంధ్రాలు లేదా నీటి రంధ్రాలు అనే పేరుతో పిలుస్తాం జలరంధ్రాలు. Exudation or guttation is the process of escape of water in liquid form. It occurs in humid climates when there is rapid absorption of water by roots, but transpiration rates are reduced. On cool nights following sultry days, water is found at the tips and margins of leaves of many plants in form of dew drops. Every drop marks the location of a hydatode through which water has come out. In many plants like Tropiolum, tomato, hydatode is not a simple pore. Here the ends of vascular elements, the tracheids, are in contact with some loosely arranged cells called epitheme, which possesses scanty chlorophyll. External to epitheme there is a cavity and finally the pore. The whole structure is referred to as hydatode. These pores or stomata differ from ordinary stomata of the leaves in a number of points wise. They are larger in size, are located at the vein ending, and particularly in the fact that they always remain open. The characteristic mechanism of opening and closing of ordinary stomata being absent. In some plants, the epitheme may be lacking, where water moves to the pore through the mesophyll cells. Morphological hydathode may be compared to the stomata. These are the passages for exudation of water, often with some dissolved salts, particularly occurring in the plants of humid climate. You see the diagram, hydathode from primal species sectional view, uh, tracheids are present and epidermis and intercellular airspace is there and epitheme is present, stromatal chamber is there and God cell. The next pore and epitheme, epidermis and tracheids. This is the hydathode at the margin of tomato leaf. Sectional, it is a sectional view. Okay, then next. Yeah, if you see the glandular tissue, external and internal glands, the glandular tissue comprises glandular outgrowths on different parts such as leaves, stems, flowers, etc. These may be epidermal or subepidermal in origin. These are of two types as given below. One is the external glands and second one is the internal glands. Okay, external glands. If you see, these glands are present on the epidermis, usually in the form of outgrowths. These are of several types as given below. Already we are studied, but again I am repeating. Hydathodes, water stomata it is called as. Hydathodes are special organs found in some herbaceous angiosperms such as tomato, colocasia and Caesar and some grasses. Through this structure, water exudes in the form of drops. Okay, it is water stomata are morphologically comparable to stomata, but they differ from stomata in following features. These are situated at the end of veins. The pores always remain open. These are larger in size. The God cells are smaller in size and devoid of chloroplasts. God cells do not have closing and opening mechanism. These exude impure water in liquid form. If you see the glandular hairs, the unicellular, multicellular glandular hairs are found distributed on different parts of the body. They have a unicellular or multicellular stalk and a head possessing on or more secretory cells. They secrete various substances such as poisons, mucilage, and oils. Such hairs are found in plants like tobacco, plumbago, and boharavia, etc. What are they? We will discuss stinging hairs and nectaries. Already we are studied. Digestive glands also we are studied. One is left in previous discussion. Stinging hairs in some plants such as uh, Articodiaca, poison secreting unicellular hairs are present on the lower surface of leaves. They cause irritation, if we touch the plant by injecting poison into the skin. These hairs protect the plant from grazing animals. Already, the next one is nectaries and digestive glands. Already we are discussed. If you see this is these are all comes under uh, external glands. If you see the internal glands, there are many plants that possess glands embedded in various tissues of root, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. These are the following types: lysogenous cavities, osmopores, and mucilage secreting glands, and zygonious cavities or ducts. If you see lysogenous cavities, these cavities are formed by the disintegration of group of secretory cells. Disintegrating secretory cells have big vacuole and protoplasm. The vacuole stores secretory products. After disintegrated, the products are released into the cavity. The cavity acts as reservoir. The lysogenous cavities in the rind of citrus fruits and leaves of eucalyptus stores essential oils. If you see the second one is osmospores. The fragrance of flowers is produced by some volatile essential oils. The essential oils are mainly present in the epidermal cells of perianth but in some families, such as Asclepiadaceae and Orchidaceae, the fragrance originates in some special glands called osmophores. Various floral parts may be modified as osmophores, and prolonged spadix portion of arach and tongue-shaped petal of uh, Platanthera and Dendrobium are some of the examples of this kind. And C. Mucilages secreting glands. These glands are found in the leaves and secrete mucilage. Example: Piper beetle and Crucifera membrane, etc. And D is the zygogenious cavities or ducts. These cavities are formed by the enlargement of intercellular spaces in the tissues. Resin canals of coniferous, secretory ducts of Compositae, and Umbelliferae are examples for such type of cavities. The cavity is surrounded by epithelial layers. This layer is composed of glandular cells which contain denser cytoplasm and prominent nucleus. The epithelial cells secrete their products such as resins, tannins, etc. into the cavities. These canals may be connected with each other to form intercommunicating system. If you see here, secretory structures in plants, already we are discussed all these things. Okay, thank you.